Meta Sports League studios and the DigiFan Podcast. We are on episode number 9, fellas. Wow. Fun times. We've had people come up to us in the street talking about the DigiFan Podcast. Any thoughts on that, fellas? And our 5,500 plus subscribers.
It's been a crazy ride. It's been a crazy ride.
I'm used to it.
Of course, you're the pro here.
What a dick.
You're a pro. No, it's been a crazy ride, though. I remember when we were starting out and we had 5, 10, and then 20.
23.
I remember when we still had 23 subscribers.
I'm a little cynical. I'm sitting there going, are these real? I keep asking Doc, is this real? I've stopped asking.
Well, with all the comments that are rolling through,
That's
makes it real. Makes it real.
That's exactly.
I don't even read them.
That's exactly why I think it's real now. Is I woke up one morning and I
With
just
a wine
happened to
glass
look
in
at
my hand.
happened to look at the comments and it's just busting us, just giving us
so good.
giving us a hard time.
Especially a lot for Wags too. There were quite a few. There were quite a few.
For sure.
There were quite a few colorful comments. I'll leave it.
Well,
at
that's
that.
good. I mean, get your own damn show. I mean, it's so easy. It's so easy to sit back there and chirp from the cheap seats.
Yep.
Hey,
And,
any chirping's a good chirp.
Everyone's doing it Sunday on the couch
All I
watching
know
football.
is I'm taking over the world one bleeping stream at a time, and
go.
I don't really care.
Oh, don't tell me you're not chirping from the couch on a Sunday.
I don't chirp anybody.
No.
No. So I
Come
got
on.
a challenge for you guys. I want to see if the four of us, me included, have the ability to go 1 hour of positivity.
Oh, for sure, done deal.
And no negativity.
Not today, though. Not today.
No.
Not today.
Okay, so that'll never happen.
Just not today.
No.
Let's do it, but just not today.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you challenging us for this hour?
Just want to see if you guys could do it.
Well, you know we can.
Well, let's try.
I do it every day.
I do too.
I don't know if I can commit to something like that.
Okay, that's at least you're honest with yourself.
Oh my goodness, Juju's
like this.
Juju's tuning in.
Is he here?
Well, can you say hello from
Hello, Juju.
from all of us?
Is Juju? Is he just
Put him on
watching?
TV. Put him on TV.
Oh, there he is. Juju.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Wow!
Where's
wow!
Juju? Let's go, fella.
where are
Hold
you-
on. I'm gonna put you up on the screen, brother. I'm gonna pin you. Add a pin.
Let's go. We got some guests tuning in. Love it.
Let's talk.
Juju the mall cop?
I miss. You know what? I miss Juju. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not gonna
do.
lie.
I met him once, and I was like, okay, this guy's solid and he's
dude.
cool, and I'd like to party with him.
I'm struggling here on the Zoom here.
Well, we'll get it together.
I'll get it together, Juju. I'll get it together.
Juju, talk. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I'm in between games right now. I'm supposed to announce a Pee-wee hockey game in about 20 minutes.
Oh, we got you up and online, by the way, buddy.
Good. Yeah, I announced the previous game about for 10 minutes.
Someone at a local network unplugged us.
Of course.
Why?
Oh,
Why
boy.
would you ever unplug somebody's cord or internet? Like, why do you do that? Just do you think
There you are, Juju.
do
There you
think
are,
someone's
Juju.
like not using that? Like, what do you think? Right?
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But you're good to go. You're calibrated. You got a quality scene. You're calling this remotely, don't you?
It had
right
to
now.
be.
Oh, yeah. I'm calling it
By the way,
remotely.
the glasses is a good look. You should rock that a little bit more. I like it.
You look very.
They're
Look at that. He's got
This
the
might
judge. Look
He
at
looks
that.
very scholarly.
Studious,
The sound
very
soft.
studious.
They're my blue light glasses because I look
okay.
at screens all damn day, so I'm not trying to mess up my eyes.
So do you don that Judge Jay, or is that there for more for looks?
The jerseys?
Yeah, the Judge jerseys. They get put into play.
That's tough, right there. That's all.
Oh, I sometimes see. I'm a big Yankee fan, which I get
Really
shit
hard-
on
really
since
hard
I'm in
to do.
Minnesota.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do love Judge. He is one of the best players in the MLB, so I got to rock with him.
Right.
Is he human?
No.
I don't know. I mean, he's built like a
Subhuman.
tank.
Yeah, he's been taking something. I mean, those cheekbones, that jawline,
I know. Yeah, he's huge. I mean, he's built like an NFL player.
for sure. Yeah,
It's ridiculous.
he's insane.
It's special when you have the ability to put it all together like that, though, because sometimes you can be a big guy but not have the hands or the feet and the ability to get around the outfield like that and do everything. So That's a good pick there. Is that A-Rod there that you have on the left there? Is that the 13?
It is. It's an honor. So growing up, I played baseball, and A-Rod was my favorite player. And I was able to get my hands on an autographed A-Rod jersey.
Wow. Nice. Very solid. Very
cool.
solid.
Hey, Juju, I have a question
He's a
for
legend.
you.
Yeah. What's the question, Teagues?
Well, this is where it's at. No, who would you like to see in the Super Bowl? Who do you think it's going to be? Because we all have an opinion, but
I believe it's going to be the Eagles and the Chiefs.
Oh,
however,
that's what I said. That's what I said. That's exactly what I said.
However, we would love to see what the Commanders and the Bills, I think, in the Super Bowl.
It's already
sweet.
Oh, absolutely. I'm not an Eagles fan, and I'm not
Neither am I.
a Chiefs fan.
Neither am I. But you know as well as I know, this has already been scripted, right? It's
there's too much money involved
to
not have the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Because Taylor
That's
Swift,
already a done deal.
Yeah, because Taylor Swift, she generates too much money for the NFL.
Much. Yes, correct.
God,
That's my opinion.
That hurts.
So, guys,
that really hurts.
Yep, my pick exactly. And again, this is scripted. So we'll see.
If Taylor Swift has anything to do with the success of the NFL,
it already has.
You've got to.
It already has women watching it.
There's a reason why the NFL is listed as entertainment. You think about what other sports or other things are listed as entertainment. The WWE.
Then I can't root for the Bills.
So then that means Jim Nantz is there to put over the teams. He's not there to announce. You got to put it over. You got to put over the storyline. And then the question I got to ask Tony Romo is: do you know the finish, or do you want to wait and be surprised? I mean, there's that too. And who's the heel and who's the baby?
Hey, as long as we don't get Joe Buck or Aikman, we're good.
He loves to play Karnak, doesn't he, during the games?
Who?
Romo, he thinks he's Karnak.
This is a wrestling outfit right here.
New World Order.
Oh, okay. Pulling it out.
New World Order.
Oh my
gosh. Hey, we've gotten holy hell from our in the comments for being conspiracy theorists over here. But keep them coming. Keep them coming.
No, I love it.
In sports or politics?
No, not politics. This is a non-politics.
No, exactly right.
Sports.
It's just a sports.
The whole
scripting.
Give me one
Think
conspiracy.
of all the great
scripting
calls
of the scripting of the Super Bowl winner.
You mean people take that seriously?
Yes, they do.
Jesus.
They gave us holy hell. But hey, any interaction, any comments are good comments at this point, boys.
Well,
all I know is there's been a lot of great favorite calls for
people take that seriously.
I don't know. I got a for FFC, for Christ's sake, right, or something like that. For fucking Christ's sake.
Why don't you buy a fucking sense of humor for a nickel? Yeah. Jesus Christ.
You conspiracy theorists. Look at the comments. It's fun. It's fun.
So think of all the favorite calls for Patrick Mahomes. Just in the nick of time, there's a flag here, flag there. It's a little bit too much.
Do I think they protect players that are stars?
No, come on. It's scripted. Well, this has been scripted. It has been.
I will say this. For the FFC sake, I would say this. I don't believe it's scripted. I'm joking. You think it is?
Well, let's.
How can you not? With the calls that are being called,
okay. Look, on the favor. I'm not quite there.
I'm not there either. I'm not there either.
You know,
I just want to be clear. I'm not there.
We'll see. I said Chiefs and Eagles a long time ago. 30-24. Chiefs win.
You know what was worse? You know what was worse? But to Wags' point about protecting the stars, worse than anything I've seen from Mahomes was that pass that they let Stafford get away with when he flicked it when he was going down.
Brutal.
Belichick was doing the Manning cast.
Right.
But one of the guys on the main broadcast said, I don't even think they checked it under the hood. He said, I think someone called from New York and said that's a pass.
Yeah.
That's what, that was
to review it.
That was.
And how can you say
terrible?
But they do. I mean, here's the thing though. Like
the fix is in.
When a guy is out of bounds and he has his foot out of bounds. Again, I don't play the game, but at one point you realize his line is going straight ahead. He's not going to cut back up. You don't need to put a hand on him. If you want to not get penalized and the guy has got one toenail out of bounds, you pull it back. You just can't.
Pull.
And so they are going to protect that guy every time.
What do you think, Juju?
Oh, well, I was there at the game. I made the trip down to Arizona live.
Yeah, boy.
Tell us more.
Longest flight in your life. Back.
Were you?
It was.
And not only
were you disappointed? Like seriously, as a Viking fan, were you disappointed, and why?
Oh my gosh!
I have a lot of thoughts. I'm disappointed but not surprised. There we go. A typical way for the Vikings to go out.
Yep.
I was disappointed, though. I think we got our asses kicked. And Wags and we even texted a lot before the game, and he predicted it. I thought he was wrong because you're a hockey guy, and I thought I knew more. I thought I knew more about football.
Sure.
And I was completely wrong. It was great to be there. It was an awesome experience. That call, I think, was ridiculous about the Stafford fumble. You guys mentioned it earlier.
Did they show it on the?
They didn't even seem to review it.
No,
they didn't even really look at it. They just called it. Oh yeah, that was a pass, and it was ridiculous.
Replay assist. We've got this new tool. Was it mid-season? This thing called replay assist came out.
Yep.
Like what midstream?
I've seen worse calls being reviewed.
The quote expedited review.
They said there was an eligible receiver.
But then at what point are they going to start saying, well, let's check and see if that really was interference? Let's see, at what point are we going to keep doing this? And then we're going to do with that like what we're doing in minor league baseball with the electronic umpiring.
Juju, at a neutral site like you were in, did they show that play on the Jumbotron to the fans in the audience?
Nope.
Come on.
Wow. Rigged.
They did not. But then, I noticed this. All the plays that, were in the Vikings' favor, a lot of questionable calls, never showed the replay. But then anything for the Rams, it was all replay for them.
Sure.
Oh.
Doc.
Sounds like some good favoritism.
Absolutely.
What's that?
I mean, it's as if it's as if they had Achilles' heel. Darnold just was not himself.
Yeah,
but I feel like the referees have been making bad calls.
That's what you do on
all
stage.
through the season. I mean, I get it. They're going to make bad calls.
Yep.
They're going to make bad calls. Everyone does, but it just seems like it's more one-sided.
Yep.
Yeah, but it was Wags.
Well, it depends upon whose side you're on.
Viking season.
Yeah, but still, it's still one-sided.
Wags said the Viking season would extend to front office guys, and so far he was right about KOC. He did get his extension. He makes $15 million a year now.
Yep. You call Wags.
Obvious.
Call.
Yeah, and we're waiting for Kwesi.
Yep.
It'll happen.
I'm assuming.
I think he might need to have a good draft.
Yes.
Yeah.
But how do you measure a draft today?
Yeah,
that's a great point.
Do you think they're going to wait? They're going to wait till after the draft?
What you do say is there's a coach that has the most wins in 3 seasons in Vikings history.
Yep.
You helped him develop that team. Who cares if it's by the draft, free agency, or whatever you're doing?
Whatever you gotta do.
He has put him in position to succeed. So at some level, you do need to do something. What I'll be curious to see though is with what are they going to get a compensatory pick for Cousins in the third? Are they getting that or not?
Yes,
okay,
they got it.
Well, right now they've got a
fifth.
Right, yeah. So they've got 3 fifths and a first.
Yep.
So we'll see if they start moving back. Like, is that 24th going to really have anything worth the 24th, or do you move it back for a second and a third, or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, who knows?
And
just
later, Juge.
Now, was that?
Yeah, I gotta go, guys.
All right, guy.
Hey,
see you later.
guys.
Thanks a lot for coming on.
Juge, have a good call there. Hey, will you do me a favor? Will you pull that up? Can you? You can't show us your. Are you on the phone or your computer?
I'm on my phone.
Can you show us your tech that we're running? Can you show us what you're doing?
It's a really this is the announcer booth. This is what I'm working with.
He's calling this Valley Fair Hockey Day, Minnesota. He's doing this off-site from the home.
Green sheets.
There it is. Oh, there it is. See, you got the nice mountaintop there. Oh, you're not even in there yet. Can you?
Okay, let's do it.
Go open up Cloud Studio for me.
Oh my God,
you're off-site. Here it is. We're loading it up. He's got all of his tools down there. You can see that.
So here are my handwritten.
Do you ever clean that screen, or do you just like cough and sneeze on it all day?
I can say the same thing about your computer.
Well, we're not talking about that. We're talking about yours.
Oh my goodness!
That is
We're probably gonna hear about it in the comments.
That looks like
Here's the headset. I know.
That looks like Tubin's laptop.
There we go.
Is there ever a show you don't refer to him? Maybe that's because you did that.
Look at that view. Look at that view out there.
Is that great? So you call the game from there.
What a great
It'll
ring.
pan and zoom. It's pretty sweet.
Gotta love it.
Zoom. We can. Let's turn off the auto follow. I can do a custom view. Should have let me.
Love the boards, the dashes,
You can
eh?
fire a replay.
Sweet.
You can do all of it.
Yeah, we can get that. We got, someone messed up. It's a basketball production. But we could fire a replay, which then...
Who scheduled that game?
Yeah.
No, I don't know who scheduled it.
Hey, it was Morty.
Not me.
Morty.
All right.
Morty fucked it up.
Okay.
Now, wait, real
You're
quick.
fired!
To tie up the Cousins conversation in a nice bow, could that little bit of cheating had led to some bad karma for him this season?
Later, Juge.
See you, Juge.
Good point.
He is a Christian.
Who?
So there may have been some penance to pay. A little bit of cheating that Cousins did that got us that 5th-round draft pick.
A little bit of cheating.
Oh, a little bit of...
What?
They were meddling. He was in communication with the Falcons when he wasn't supposed to be. So
when did that come out?
The Vikings just were given a 5th-round draft.
Yeah, they had negotiated the deal before. You know that? He was their only
Little
suitor.
bit of bad karma.
From what I heard, like it was quoted somewhere, that the only suitor for him was Atlanta, and he was their guy.
Yeah.
And they were talking to him before, and that was tampering. And they don't care. They wanted to get their guy.
Even more costly, though.
Hey, fellas.
Yeah, but they
Hey,
don't.
fellas. We got like about 9 people on our Zoom here.
Let's go.
Should we ask them if anyone wants
Yeah, and ask them to come on up.
Yeah,
For sure.
that was sent.
One more thing about Kwesi before we move on to that is you got to give the guy some credit. Grenard and Andrew Van Ginkel,
Yeah.
both
Yep.
NFC All-Pro.
Yep.
Yeah. That was huge.
Both pickups by Kwesi.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the biggest thing. Like we were saying, do we get
NFC All-Pro, that's big.
huge? I mean, do we get it done by the draft? Do you get it done by trading? And again, I don't think we're really in much of a position to have draft leverage this year. So I'm really curious to see again, some of those signings, some of those people that we might be able to, scoop up. But I think that's going to be the biggest thing is seeing, do we make a push for draft picks
also
too, and trading players
as they sit in the war room, they have to be talking about just as a scenario. What if we traded McCarthy with only 2 QBs coming out of the draft that are looked as
I don't think
potential.
You don't think that could be any leverage?
They've got to run through the scenario. They have to run through the scenario.
You don't think there's any leverage for McCarthy if you put him out there?
I don't trade him.
Don't trade him.
No.
I don't think we can afford to trade him.
So
I'm a Darnold fan.
Okay.
I'm a Darnold fan.
Yep.
I'd let him fly.
Okay.
You did bring in Daniel Jones for a reason.
Okay.
You can probably get him for a song because he's in a prove it. I don't know his contract situation, but he was caught, right?
Okay.
So you're probably going to get yourself a pretty good contract situation there again, and you have a quarterback in his rookie season.
Yep.
There's like
someone called in with a very vulgar something
message.
The video was not good. I'm glad I didn't have it up on the screen, so I just shut down Zoom. So let's just keep her going.
Okay.
Well, I think that's kind of hilarious. One person made us shut down our whole entire Zoom.
Yes, I did not want to see that image. I'm just telling you that right now.
No, I get that.
But don't you have to admit people in, otherwise they can't.
You can admit them.
I admitted them in, and all of a sudden it was like this
Tubin
view on the screen.
Got it.
Oh my gosh!
Not a good view. Okay.
No, not
Guys,
good.
what if they franchise them?
But that's $40 million. That puts them right back to where they don't want to be. So
way too much.
I think the idea was if he gets them to the NFC Championship game, gets them to the Super Bowl, then you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
Gotta resign.
It's a win-win.
You do appreciate everything that happened.
Yep.
He's teed up. You wish him well. And then you say, okay, Danny Jones, take over, run it.
So Jones, you got McCarthy, and then we still keep Mullins?
Or Rippon.
No, he's gone.
He's out.
Yep.
And then Mullins.
Third string.
Third string, who cares?
Yeah, he was.
But you've always got Mullins who really does know the offense. If you need him, so he's always there. But I don't think you take a flyer on Daniel Jones if you don't think you're going to do something with him. That's my opinion. I don't think you give up those assets.
No, I don't think so. And
That's fair.
And I think he wanted KOC. I think he knows he's going to be a backup quarterback.
But the quarterback whisperer,
as
Greg Olson called him.
What about just kind of moving ahead? Vacancies on head coaches. There's a lot of.
How about Pete Carroll and the Raiders? That's the thing.
That was big.
Oldest coach in the history of the NFL. And you know what? He acts like he's 50. And he's got great energy. He will get this team, I think, doing what they need to, pulling the boat in the same... Ooh, rowing the boat.
Rowing the boat!
Ooh.
Darnold could go to the Raiders.
I think so.
That's what I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah. Who knows? But we're, in the coach perspective, I do think that's a great pickup. How about that whole to-do in Jacksonville? You don't know?
What about it?
What, are you taking a nap or?
Jeez.
There's so much. What happened?
He could go to the Giants, Titans, or Raiders.
The O coordinator
When Tampa
in Tampa, Cohen, right?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, I did hear
So
it.
he interviews. Everybody thinks he's got the job. Doesn't end up getting the job. GM gets fired. Then a day later, he's gone back to Tampa. He's going to be the O coordinator there again. And then a day later, he's now the Jacksonville quarterback.
Head coach.
Yeah.
Head coach.
So that's what the back. Yeah,
What a freaking joke.
I couldn't follow all the back and forth.
What is this roundabout shit?
Maybe he was the owner's guy, and maybe the GM didn't like him. And you know what? When you stroke the checks, you have decisions to make. And he said, You know what?
Oh, you can't live with it? Come on.
I mean, so I'm sure, that's how it goes. Some owners get a little more involved. Some don't. Some play fantasy football, some don't.
Right.
The Wilfs tend to stay away from it.
Yep.
But we know out in New York with the Jets, he gets very involved. We know John Mara tries to stay out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He probably should have stayed more involved with Saquon, as we were talking about, especially.
Yep.
But hindsight's always 20/20 with this stuff. I mean, these guys aren't just playing fantasy football on a whim. They've got strategies and thoughts, and they're expecting things to work certain ways.
A lot of things work well.
And you're asking a lot to work and happen, and there's a little luck that goes into it too. Because, here's the thing. Take Dallas Turner, for example. Was he like the top edge rusher selected?
Yes.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Was he the top rookie edge rusher?
Yes. He was
in the NFL.
He was a gift
in the NFL this past year.
They acted like he was a gift when they got him in the first round.
But I'm asking, was his performance that? And I say no.
No.
Sure.
Could it be down the road? Yes. But as advertised, every team in the league felt that was real. However, there were several teams that passed on him.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Vikings took him there. And, you just don't know with some of these guys. It may look great in college. It may look great in the combine. Which you just don't know.
They kept bringing up things like he's not mature enough. He literally did not play in games.
Yep.
And there was always a very vague sort of background story about why he didn't play. He has a lot of development to do. He's not mature enough.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of these guys are getting drafted pretty young.
Well, on and off the field.
I mean, it's one of those things too. We've seen how many quarterbacks, we've talked about it before, how many quarterbacks have we seen, that just maybe don't have the mental capacity or the fortitude to be able to, work through some of those reads that they maybe didn't have to as often in college. They had a different level of talent, 4 or 5 stars recruit across the board, and in some of those, soft games that they play against teams. I mean, it's not to say that there aren't tough games, that there aren't teams that have tough schedules in college football.
Recording in progress.
But there's something to say about, taking that next step and playing against the best of the best. So, for me, I'm really curious to see, again, as you were saying, do players have that kind of step up, year that they're, their sophomore year, or their third year, fourth year, so on and so forth, to be able to, really earn, that impressive contract that everybody's chasing after, their rookie deal gets signed.
I do think that the Vikings are in win now mode. They're not
like we were saying earlier.
They're not building for 2 years from now. I think they are.
They want it now.
They want to win now.
Oh.
Yep.
I think they need to. I really do. After
season going into this year, I don't think anybody felt like it was a win now season.
Right.
Despite the fact that we got
14
Coach of the Year and 14 wins and then shit the bed.
It's an impressive year. Let's not take anything away from them.
Definitely.
But just
just
shit
like
the bed.
The Grenard and Van Ginkel. I mean, the 2 pick sixes. I mean, it was a fun year to watch.
It was. See, do you have anything else off of football here? I know there's some chatter around the Wild and Timberwolves.
I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm getting lit up here with texts on different things. But no, I mean, generally speaking, on the coach carousel, we didn't really get too hard into it. I think the Pete Carroll hiring is awesome for the Raiders.
It's great.
And you know, I think
Cowboys.
I think the other. Do you want me to move over? Is that what you want, Doc? We good? Cheers. I think when you look at what they have for coaches in that division, veterans, you're going, what? You got Harbaugh, you got Reed, you got Sean Payton. Do you really want to match up with that type of veteran ability? Do you really want to do that with a rookie guy?
It's a Mount Rushmore.
No. I'd be nervous. So it is a Mount Rushmore of coaches, for sure.
AFC West.
Yeah, I think it is true. So I like that pickup. I don't know. I mean,
but I like what you're saying. If you're a first-year coach,
Chicago Bears,
I mean,
that's tough.
They clearly wanted him, didn't they?
Yep.
And what about Schottenheimer in Dallas?
Yeah.
Oof, what was happening there? So you got a Super Bowl coach that you said, okay, bye-bye. And then you bring in a guy that's kind of been like sort of bouncing around the league.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go down that path. Is this because I think there's a certain character that Jerry Jones likes from what I can see, which is fine.
Yep.
I respect it. You can tell. Well, I mean, when I think Jason Garrett's a great human being. I think they did a great job. You know, lots of different types of rosters he had to deal with there. But McCarthy didn't do bad. This year was kind of rugged.
It was rugged.
But did he get fired over this year? I don't know.
I heard they're looking at Pete Carroll from
it seems. Yeah, it seems a little drastic.
Dallas was?
Yeah.
Well, he's gone.
Yeah.
So where is he going now?
He's in Vegas.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. And so then they brought in Schottenheimer, Marty's kid.
And then you see what happened with, obviously, the Bears, too. The one thing I thought was interesting is, and that's kind of the double-edged sword of having success in the NFL, is you have, great seasons, you have great runs, and everybody else, has the ability then to kind of scale up their life and take on the head coaching position. That a lot of people, that's what they're in the league for. So you see the Lions have a great season, everything's blowing up. This coordinator's gone, that coordinator's gone. I haven't taken that.
How about the new D coordinator in San Francisco?
That too,
Robert.
Yep.
From the Jets to, I felt like he got screwed a little bit.
Yeah.
Your team's 2-3. They were a very, very effective defense under him. He's a defensive guy. And they just say, okay, bye-bye. And they are just horrible after he leaves. They're better with him. I thought he was a head coaching candidate. B-Flow getting passed over. Looks like he's back for another year.
Did he have any activity at all? Any interviews?
He said that he
Rooney Rule?
I don't know if there was anything confirmed, but he said that he was, when we talked about it last week, I believe it was, that he would take any and all opportunities, but I haven't heard if there were. It's been pretty quiet.
The doors are closing on a lot of these. There's maybe, a couple?
And that's kind of what we were saying on the impromptu remote podcast that we had. That was kind of the first thing that we had talked about. Who are the first pieces that fall into place? Like you said, we've had how many coaches now move around? Like you said, the window's getting smaller and smaller.
Well, the Vikings are really benefiting from, if it's his baggage that's keeping him out of opportunities, the Vikings are going to benefit by, because that guy's usually gone.
Yeah. I feel like if there was really a suitor, if there was someone that really wanted him, given the track record that he's had between the couple of teams, I would think that he would be amongst, one of the top individuals to go.
Definitely.
So
I thought for sure he was going to Chicago. And
okay.
Have you seen the hate online for Ben Johnson when he left from the Lions fans?
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
The Lions fans were torching him?
The Lions fans are torching Johnson.
Why? For bettering himself?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. They're stewing in their own shit.
So he's supposed to stay there to win them a Super Bowl they might not ever win.
Correct.
Is that what I'm hearing?
Correct. And he's a traitor.
But you as a fan can be pissed off because you get looked over for every promotion.
Well,
no, I don't want that promotion at work. I'm going to stay here because I'm loyal to my department.
Yeah, bullshit.
It's interdivisional trade.
He's in it.
So what?
He's in it to win it. If Detroit didn't win this year, he gone.
There's one coordinator, there's always another. It's not like it's the end of the world. And someone's going to come in there. Dan Campbell's fine. They got so much talent. They're going to be absolutely just fine. Yep. It's emotional. People get emotional.
It's a lose, and it's a lose, and it's another lose.
Yeah, I mean, it's all okay.
So then here's a real question for
everyone's going to live
for something like this. You look at, again, we're talking about the window closing here. There's not a lot of opportunities left. For the last couple of teams that are left here, depending on who goes and wins it all. I mean, what are the odds that any of those coaches will move around? Eagles, Philadelphia, Bills, Commanders. I mean, at this point, do you think anyone pretty much just stays put? I mean,
good point.
I don't know if there's going to be much.
Four more teams.
Well, I bring it up because we talk about again, these teams have really incredible seasons like the Lions did. Obviously, the NFC North fell pretty short in the playoffs and we kind of stunk it up. But it's one of those things where I don't know. Is there any moving of players or coaches, immediately following their losses, or are they doubling? If you get to this point, is that kind of a sure
I think
lock?
Everybody stays unless there's a coordinator someone wants to grab, or they're hanging on to with a couple of these final openings.
Yep.
But I think it's pretty much set going into next year.
Sure.
So,
and then I know we kind of touched on it a little bit, but if you guys, who's your Super Bowl winner here before we move on to the next thing? I was just curious about that.
I think it's going to be the Bills.
I agree with Jeff.
Yeah.
Bills?
Yep.
Chiefs.
I would love to see the Bills.
Josh Allen is like 8 feet tall.
I agree.
I mean,
his story, his background is fascinating. Where he came out of what was it, Wyoming? I mean, just incredible.
He's just better than ever.
No stars out of high school, wasn't highly recruited. I mean, this kid was grinding out there just to get his tape out there, his film out there.
And the fact that he calls his own number as often as he does, and he's not thinking about injury or anything like
he's
that.
A bruising runner.
Good.
He is a bruising runner.
The last point that I want to share and touch on is the inconsistency of weapons that he's been able to have and really make sure there in Buffalo. I think that's been one of the.
That's crazy.
He's had Cook. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's been a great running back for him, but but I mean, even the inconsistency of that, people haven't always been around. So he's always made.
Doesn't matter who you give him as a receiver or an option, he makes them better.
He'll make a 5-star meal out of a loaf of bread.
Yeah, he sure does. But here's the other thing: is if you're at the 5-yard line, they're most likely scoring.
Yeah.
He's gonna bulldoze his way in. Yeah. Like there's not many quarterbacks can do that.
Yeah.
He has that it factor too, though. Like I think he's on a mission here.
Yeah.
Until he gets injured. Until he gets injured.
He's gonna push him through.
And I think the Eagles
could be wrong.
And I look at the Eagles and I can't. The over under for Saquon Barkley this weekend is 140 yards.
Total offense.
Yeah. And he scored 2 touchdowns in the last 2 games. I mean, he is peaking.
On fuego.
Yeah.
Hey, let's hear it from Todd. Doc, what's that?
What do you got for us? Super Bowl winner.
Well, I've been saying it from the beginning. Don't say
Commanders.
I've been saying it from the beginning. I'd love to see the Commanders.
Okay.
In there. I'd love to see Bills Commanders now that the Ravens are out, honestly.
Yeah, I love Jaden Daniels. I love what
But you want Commanders... You're calling it out as Super Bowl
Bills
champs.
Commanders. No. I think if it's Bills Commanders, I think Josh Allen pulls through. Yep.
I'm a fan of Jaden. I'd love.
And I'm a fan of McLaurin. Oh, somebody other than the quarterback. Sorry.
I'm a fan of Taylor Swift. I mean Mahomes.
We really need to get the Chiefs.
Hey, say quick.
But how good was Terry McLaurin though? I mean that was awesome. Totally cool dude. Unbelievable. Good for him.
Yeah.
It's fun watching him get it done. You know what? They could very well beat their division rival who they are not impressed by. And that's a factor too. You play each other twice a year. Yep. They know each other. That's a divisional game in an NFC championship, which I think will be awesome. Yep. The other thing feels like a divisional game because it's the Chiefs and Bills all the time. In Arrowhead, it just always is.
Yep.
And I think this year, though, they get over the hump on the road.
Yes.
I do.
It's got to happen.
I really do. So are we 3 Bills to 1?
3 Bills to 1.
Okay.
3 Bills to 1.
Because it's fixed.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Who's the heel and who's the baby face?
I'm just going to tell you right now, one more time. Chiefs 30, Eagles 24.
Okay. Wow. Well, we'll see. Wait till you see this chat we have. It's just absolutely going to be lighting up.
Let's go.
We're gonna get lit up.
Do we transition?
Quick break, maybe?
Quick break.
Okay.
Quick break, guys. All right. Well, this is the DigiFan Podcast from the MetaSports League Studios. We'll be back in 3 minutes.
You ever missed your child's hockey game because you were out of town? Or maybe you didn't want to get up at 5 a.m. Or just maybe your kids had games at the exact same time. Luckily for you, there's Live Barn. Our completely automated cameras ensure that you'll never miss a game again. Becoming a member is easy. Simply sign up and start watching from any of the hundreds of venues on our network. Anytime, anywhere, on any device. Players can instantly share video, and all members can submit highlights to be considered for Live Barn's Plays of the Week. Live Barn allows you to review practices and games to improve your team's performance. Whether you're a beginner, all-star, has-been, coach, parent, now you can watch hockey when you want, where you want, how you want. Head over to livebarn.com.
All right, fellas, we are back from break. This is the DigiFan Podcast with Wags, JC, L, Teagues, and Peanut. I'm Doc. This is the MetaSports League Studios. Fellas, take it away. We got lots to talk about. We got hijacked that last session.
Little hijacked, but we
What was that session about?
Emphasis on jacked.
That was a lot of football talk, and then we got a little bit of insider news on baseball.
I'm burnt on the football.
Too.
Like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah,
Let's get out of here.
Let's get into
It's a little wild too.
Sounded like someone got a little excited with the Taylor Swift conversation.
I guess so.
We need a little bit of baseball, a little bit of hockey.
What's interesting to me on the baseball side is it doesn't matter what the roster looks like when we start turning the calendar to. Do I have a mute button here anywhere?
No,
You do not. Just give her a cough.
Yeah, just give her a rip. Give her a nice cough into the mic.
Going back to the
Wouldn't be the first
going
time.
back to the hall.
I can mute you, but you just tell me when.
mentholyptus. No, but there's always spring. Hope springs eternal.
Yeah.
And with baseball, you always feel that way, no matter what your roster is, because things can happen, and it's such an injury-prone game. It's such a long haul. But I started thinking about this Twins roster, and you think about what they're throwing out there. If they do trade Christian Vasquez, and that's in the mix,
I wouldn't be opposed.
to San Diego for Dylan Cease, was a Cy Young vote getter last year.
Yep.
You now would have Cease as your number one starter. You'd have Pablo Lopez. You'd have Joe Ryan. You'd have Bailey Ober.
Yep.
And then you have your choice of Simeon Woods Richardson.
Yep.
Festa and Matthews.
Yep.
I'm missing somebody else, I think. That would suddenly be probably the deepest rotation, at least in the Central Division, and you could argue in the American League. If everybody stays healthy.
Exactly.
If you can pull that off. So you think about what they did as they started stockpiling.
We also have Dobnak too. I don't know if he's going to do anything, if Mr. Randy is going to step up and do anything for us.
He was good when he was healthy.
Yeah, the biggest thing is keeping him healthy.
Exactly. But maybe he could be a spot starter or long reliever or whatever. But in order to get Cease, they'd have to give up levels of prospects, either high-end upcoming prospects.
Which they do have a couple.
I don't know if I'm not sure if I like that. But then they have the major league ready prospects and probably include a Julian into the mix as well.
Sure.
Then, at some point you're going to say, okay, who are you putting over at second base? Are you putting Brooks Lee over at second base?
Good.
What are you going to do at third? You've got two guys. You've got Miranda or you've got Lewis. I like putting Lewis now over at first.
Yep.
And then you stuff Brooks Lee over at second.
Yep.
I don't know if his lateral movement's quick enough, but
why Lewis at first? Just curious.
Or you put Lewis at
second.
Or I would say maybe see if he can slide over to shortstop. You put Miranda over at first. You get Brooks Lee over.
What about Correa?
Well, I mean,
he's short.
If he's healthy,
he's fine.
That's the thing. If he's healthy,
he's your shortstop.
Yeah.
So the thing with Lewis, to Doc's question, is I think we saw some different throwing going on over from third base last year.
Yep.
This team has perpetually, under the Falvey regime, not taken first base very seriously until Santana came in on a bridge 1-year deal.
Which I thought was great at that time.
Well, I mean, how good were the results?
I mean, all things considered, it was pretty good.
You can't just throw a guy over there and say, well, here's the footwork.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very technical position.
It is.
I played it. I understand that.
Yep.
But there's a lot of guys that don't take it very seriously.
Jeff, why are you laughing?
Yeah, Jeff, you're always like sparing off. What are you looking at over here? Like, we're all here, and then Jeff's like, what are we looking at?
Jock keeps telling me to look at the camera.
Why?
No, not look at the camera. Just slide in is all.
Yeah, I look it over. He's like sitting there. I'm like, what's he looking at?
He doesn't want me looking at you.
So I'm sitting here. I'm sitting here.
Straight ahead.
Going,
I'm like totally engaged.
I'm going, JC loves himself. That's what I'm thinking. It's so good. But anyway, so you start,
we all love you, JC.
Pretty talented team. Kepler is gone, but then that opens up more Larnach and Wallner at bats.
Yep.
For sure in the corners.
Love Wallner.
If you have the ability, if you can even get 125 games out of Buxton.
That is a very tall ask. I'm
just saying.
I would love it.
If you can, you've got a superstar there. Yep. That dude is legit. If you can squeeze 125 games out of him, get him up to like second to most he's ever played in a season. It doesn't mean you can. There's some ifs there. But
so would you want to DH him instead?
I don't know. I mean, if you don't have a choice,
he'll stay healthy.
The Miranda Lewis thing is a problem for me because it's you got to have them both. But I don't like Miranda at first. I don't. I would prefer to see third. I'd like to see what Lewis could do at third, but I don't love Miranda at third. I like his bat.
Curious.
I think his defense is average.
Sure.
I wanted to jump in on Peanut real quick. Peanut, like, why don't you think Buxton could make it? Why is that such a tall ask? Just because he's never done it before, really, and he's been so injury prone, or is he just not? Is it a load management thing?
He gives his full effort when he's out there.
He's never done it once.
Well, no, I'm saying when he's out in center field, he has been known to flail his body around and crash into the wall.
He doesn't care.
I mean,
what it takes to catch a ball
all the time.
So that's my biggest thing is that
he did it when he played for the Saints. He dove for a ball in center field.
Yeah.
So totally respect and appreciate that. How about he was? Did you guys see that time when he face planted going into second?
Yep.
He was hustling out a double and he tripped.
Yep.
And everything he does is so like extra.
Yes.
He hit that ground so hard. I'm like, he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like boom.
Yeah. It's anything he does. He is moving at such high speeds and high velocity. I mean, I know that some people will say, "Oh, there's people faster." I mean, I still think he's one of the fastest. When he's healthy, he's still one of the fastest players in the league.
Reminds me of the story of Pete Rose. No matter what he did, he would do it 100%.
100%.
He went hard for sure.
They only know one speed.
Yep.
He went hard for sure.
Even if he knew he was going to get called out on first base, easy play, he would run as fast and as hard as he possibly could.
I couldn't deal with the spike though when he played first.
Even
you know how he'd run off the field with the hair going?
Yeah.
He'd spike the ball.
Yeah.
Off the turf.
His little factoid they put up on the scoreboard at the Twins games is, what would you be doing if you weren't a Major League Baseball player?
Yep.
His answer, truck driver.
Really?
Yeah.
Simple man.
Yeah.
Simple man.
Simple.
Always wanted to win.
Speaking of winning, what about those Los Angeles Dodgers and the monopoly that they've
the monopoly money?
Yeah, the monopoly money that they've just been able to. I don't know about you guys, but it seems very, very odd that they have landed some of the biggest international signings in the whole league with another, once in a lifetime.
It's just too much.
Yeah. We're cruising to a salary cap here, I hope.
I mean, it's not even close at this point. I mean, you're going to have arguably one of the best hitters in the league, who can play both sides of the ball. The other signing that they had, great pitcher as well, and then infielder as well, I believe. I mean, I don't know. It's definitely the trifecta in Los Angeles right now. And then obviously I know that Gavin Lux had left and he's over in Cincinnati now, so they had obviously moved on from some young talent there. But curious to see what the Dodgers end up doing with everything that they have in their repertoire now.
And how does that from a business sense? What does that mean for the Twins as they sort of pioneer this new streaming deal that they're doing? Like, that's where the Dodgers and the Yankees get their revenue, is from their TV deals. And we're going into this sort of new territory.
Twins territory.
Yeah. As we try to compete, it's going to be an interesting year for these Twins as they, pursue new ownership.
It's everybody though. I mean, it's everybody. There's like one Yes Network. There's, one LA market, one Chicago market. Until they get this figured out, until they start putting, I know they've got luxury
it's all
taxes
about the dollar.
Things, but these luxury taxes are blown through by teams that don't care. Speaking of LA, what do you think of this?
Who am I speaking with? Shohei Ohtani.
Oh, really?
Thank you. How may I help you?
I heard this today.
A wire transfer a couple days ago.
Okay, let me ask you something. If you need an interpreter and you're speaking English that perfectly, why would you say you're Shohei Ohtani?
They told me that that's probably the reason, so they transferred me to this number. Alrighty. Now, the number ending 0373, is that the best contact number for you?
It is. It's the one and only.
Yes. Okay. So I'm going to send a one-time authorization code
Great.
to your text messaging. Can you provide me with that 6-digit code when it become available? Yep. Okay. What is the reason for this transaction?
Listen to this one. Listen to this.
For a car loan.
A car loan for $200.
Okay. You said it's for a car loan? Yes. Okay. What is your relationship to the payee? He's my friend. Will there be any future wires to your friend? Possibly.
Whoa!
Possibly.
You're done, buddy. Good luck with that sentencing.
Wow.
So until that, I heard that, Wags. I was like, is it really the interpreter?
I know. You're like kind of wondering if they're covering for him.
Yeah.
I kind of felt the same.
Right.
That is really wild. So he's got sentencing coming up here. I think it's in February, early February here. And he's screwed, dude.
Hot
like,
water there.
You are screwed.
I think so.
Nice work. That
Thanks for pulling that up.
You think that was actually him?
Who knows?
I
No, it wasn't
from the Athletic, so I'd assume
it was his interpreter.
Yeah. That they're saying it's his voice. I don't have it authenticated.
It's on
but
Facebook.
I could.
It's real.
Yeah.
They traced it back to his number.
That means it's real then. That means it's real for sure.
It came from the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, so but it's the rich get richer in baseball, and I'm all for capitalism, but I think if you're running a league, you think of the sum of the whole.
Yeah.
And there's 85% of the league that's not in that bracket.
It's got to be a
You
little
basically
parity.
alienated everybody but about 5 or 6 teams.
Think of how many baseball
Which sucks.
players are actually betting on games. A slew of them.
Do you think?
Yeah, why wouldn't they?
No, because they don't want to be Pete Rose.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't want to be
there's a lot of people that have done a lot worse things than Pete Rose that are in the Hall of Fame. So I'm just going to beg to differ.
That's a tough.
It's integrity of the game, David.
No, I get it, but I'm not.
I don't believe that's happening.
I don't think so either.
You know,
I really don't. No. No way.
These guys are professional athletes.
I mean,
not everybody's into betting in Vegas, and I think they're into.
Or if they're into betting, they bet on something that's not theirs. They're not stupid.
No, I'm not saying that they're betting necessarily just on baseball itself. I'm just saying in general, people are betting, gambling.
And you can do that.
Because they make it so much easier now.
But you can do that. Everybody does.
Yeah. But
I don't, but...
Nor do I.
You can see by the way I pick shit, I have no...
I buy crypto.
Chance.
I guess that's gambling.
That's gambling too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
glad I'm up.
So that was a very positive twin spin going into spring training.
Yeah,
I think.
And then was there any update? I know I heard from some other friends that there might be some murmurs, there might be some progressions on getting a deal done with new ownership here potentially before the season starts.
I think that's the goal from what they're hearing. Nobody's really saying who it is. But
we have an idea.
I think the idea is to fast track that as quick as they can. Then you can bring in a guy like Dylan Cease, whose contract is expiring after this year. And if you do have new ownership that might want to take a chance and invest against ticket sales and say, okay, because I think it's important to note, if your team loses 150 million a year, you do that for 10 years, that's $1 billion. No one running any business is going to go for that.
No.
Even though the fans feel differently.
The value of the team is increasing.
Well, but you're just chewing away any of the residual or any of the equity.
Well, and the prices are outrageous to go to a game anyways.
You can't run a business at a deficit.
No.
Anyone that thinks you can has never owned a business.
No, it's not scalable. And I mean, ticket prices and food and beer and everything else is just so much money to go to a game nowadays.
Well, they came up 300,000 short of their attendance last year. And I think a lot of it, honestly, had to do with that debacle with the Comcast and Bally's at the time. I think it was just such a joke that people need to see the product, whether they're in the restaurant bar, whether they're passing through in the living room.
100%.
It gets you like, they got a series with the Dodgers. Let's go. But if it's not front of mind, you're not going to go.
And then coming off the playoff series win, they cut the budget, they cut the salary, and that was a big slap in the face to fans that were starting to get excited again.
See, and for me, that didn't bother me because the team was, other than Sonny Gray, was pretty much largely the same. Yep. And so I'm like, okay. I mean, that guy wasn't getting through the fifth inning anyway in my book. Right. So I'm like, okay, well, this is someone else's turn to get us to the fifth. Who cares? Yep. So, yeah, I mean, that is a slap to a degree, but you also, it's smart for them because they didn't have that money coming in from TV. Because that number was reduced.
Yep.
And you know what? You got to have a budget. You're not the Dodgers. You're not the Mets. You're not the Yankees. How about Gary Bettman?
Yeah, let's talk a little hockey.
Reading in The Athletic, that story, it sounds like there was a podcast that Craig Leopold was on. And
spilled the beans.
He had mentioned, basically spilled the beans, saying Bettman's, pretty much on his way out. But the problem is, Gary Bettman never said he was on his way out. And he's like, I don't think I'm ever going to retire. He's
not wired to retire. So how would he say?
That's what he said. Thank you. And I think what he was basically saying is, we do. I am 72. I have done this for 30 some years. I'm the longest running commissioner in any sport. He's done an amazing job. And it's kind of like, I'm not out yet. I haven't set him out, but that might have been a little premature.
Don't kick him out.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
No.
Do you think he had a talking to, Doc?
I think so. I think
100.
Leopold was like, oh crap,
zip it,
zip it.
Yep.
Pull your head out.
It was one of those things that was like in a private conversation, and then Leopold.
Or maybe the committee knows, and he's a leaker.
Yeah, well,
they're just talking about it.
They're just talking nonchalant, and just sometimes you have to guard your words. And when you're in a casual situation,
your audience.
You're talking. Sometimes you don't guard your words.
What I wanted to touch on though with him is I think, I don't know what this room thinks of him, but I think publicly he gets kind of hammered more than he deserves. When you consider this league, it's the most tricky of the four majors to run. No question. You've been able to grow it to 32 sustainable teams.
Yeah.
You've done it in markets where people would say, how is hockey going to thrive and exist in Tampa, Miami, Dallas? How's that going to happen? Nashville.
That is crazy.
And when you really think about when we were little, if that was even a possibility, it was always viewed down our noses because we're so arrogant,
right?
That we're saying, well, there's no way that's the AHL or that's the IHL or East Coast League. That's not NHL material. But he's proven that if you invest in the appropriate markets, now what you're seeing are players from Florida being drafted in the first round, players from Dallas being drafted in the first round. It's impressive. Kids are playing the game, and they've been able to really extend the game of hockey. USA Hockey's done a great job, and I don't think Gary Bettman and the NHL get enough credit for the footprint that they've created in that regard. I do think the salary cap was huge. We lost a whole season for it. Get it? But all of the things they've done have been for the betterment of the game. What they did a very good job of is dealing with and getting through the COVID and the cap era with no fans when they are about the most ticket-driven league in the world. They get to the level now where you're going to have a cap that's going to get up into the 90s, like probably mid-90s here right now, and close to 100 million. Who would have ever thought NHL teams, when our salary in Dallas in 1993 was $13 million?
Right.
No,
well, the game's changed.
But 30 years later, you're up getting near $100 million.
The game has changed.
Yeah. But you wouldn't have gotten there if he wouldn't have brought in these other markets, and he was able to get it extended to other areas to really get true national TV deals.
And these all-star players. I mean, what a show.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Yep. And all the teams when we were growing up were all 500 miles from the Canadian border.
Yeah.
You could put a hula hoop around it.
Yeah, it was amazing. It is
the Adams division, the Patrick division.
It's a great point.
Those guys could basically drive in their cars.
Yeah,
not quite, but like, it was,
one dilemma that I still see is great. You know, they've done that and they've gotten kids interested. Say down in Dallas was one of, like you were down there. They got kids interested. They got kids from those states, those southern states, interested in playing hockey, but the to play hockey right now, it's so expensive. It's gone up astronomically, and I worry about it becoming just kind of an elitist sport.
Because to be successful in youth hockey, you need indoor ice these days.
Yeah,
and so without it,
I think you're at a deficit.
Is there an initiative there?
I think Teagues makes a point where it kind of always has been. The one thing that I think you could really, I mean, like the cost of sticks. Like, do you really need that type of material for a stick? Are you serious?
$350 stick?
Like for real? Like, you really don't.
But if it wasn't for guys like Ralph Engelstad, I mean, some of these northern towns, we're already losing a lot of them, unfortunately, in the state tournament as far as representation. But it's all about indoor ice because you've got it. It's like all the other sports. It's 12 months.
But I'll say this: Rock Ridge. We're going to go Minnesota here. Rock Ridge has got a really good shot to
love it.
Represent, which is Virginia and Eveleth. They have an opportunity. If they don't go, it's going to be Rapids. Moorhead's definitely going to probably represent the 8AA. So every year there's always been
a mix,
a really good representation from northern Minnesota.
There's got to be.
And when you had Moorhead, Grand Rapids going at it a few years back, that was special.
Yeah.
I think the game is very healthy here in Minnesota, mostly because these venues are municipal run.
Yes.
The smart ones close down in the summer because it costs too much to keep it alive. Even if you have training and things going on, you cannot generate the revenue.
Parents think right away that their kids aren't going to be successful if they're not doing it 12 months a year. And,
right.
And what if?
But if you live in southeastern Minnesota, they shut her down, or in northern Minnesota.
Yeah,
and play baseball.
Yeah, I mean,
which they should.
Yeah,
multi-sports.
They're the best athletes.
I think the whole topic was more about how much of a footprint Gary Bettman's put on this league.
Sure.
Yep. And I think he gets a bad rap sometimes. How about McDavid getting those games?
Ooh. Yeah, that was another one. He got suspended for 3 games. He should have
been playing in that game.
Yeah.
He should have been suspended in the mini game.
Right.
Yep.
But speaking of great runs,
here comes more comments for that one. He shouldn't have been.
Final comments.
Willard Ikola.
Oh,
the great one has passed. This
Rest
week, Wags knows more than all of us, but 3 state championships as a goalie with Eveleth.
Yeah,
as a youngster, and then 33 years at Edina High School.
Just a huge part.
And he was an Olympian.
Huge part of the community.
8 state championships, Wags. You've had some personal interaction with him.
19 section titles, 22 Lake Conference championships, 8 state titles. The guy is he's bigger than life. And I was talking to Pat Geyer today from the Greenway area. And I said, the one thing about Willard Ikola that I will say, and I stand by this, is that people don't really understand Edina and what it is and why it's different. It is different from any other area. And Pat said, it's the community. I said, exactly. And when you think about the community that it is, you've got this arena called Braemar Arena that is, the city is really
iconic,
built around it. And if you go to Eveleth, there's the Hippodrome. Mm-hmm. If you go to Hibbing, there's Memorial Arena.
Yep.
Yanmar Arena in Grand Rapids, formerly IRA Civic Center, so forth and so on. People would be working in the mines. They would grind. They'd go to the ponds and they'd skate. Their kids would skate. And they took pride. And, when you're on top of those hills in the Iron Range, you can look here. You can see the lights about 8, 9, 10 miles down the road. Oh, there's Hibbing. Oh, there's Eveleth. And you can see it's all very, very close. And that was sort of like the pride of the area. And when he came down here in 1958 as the coach, why wouldn't it be that way? And I think that's how he kind of built the hockey program, with that same attitude. And it's an intangible that
totally
you feel and you understand. And here's the key part to the whole thing, though. So he created that. And not every kid plays hockey. We get it. But most kids want to. And want to give it a shot. And when they do, they understand it. And one of the things that Pat Geyer's son, Gino, the former Golden Gopher, said, he did a ton of camps and clinics for high school and youth kids around the state of Minnesota, around the Twin Cities too, a lot. And he said, the kids that I worked with the most, and I loved the most, were the Edina kids, because they cared, they listened, they loved it, and they wanted to get better, because they were different from any other kids we dealt with.
They still are.
They said they were respectful, and that's all Willard, though. That so it started that way. But here's the key: it would not be continuing, in my opinion, if Kurt Giles for 26 years did not take that mantle,
follow through with that
seriously. He takes it incredibly seriously, and that's why it is the way it is.
Sets that standard, right? That bar.
He respects excellence. What that was. He understands it.
And, pro.
And when you sit as an interior suburb, Armstrong and Cooper were both very good, two proud teams. They're one. Richfield, they're now with Southwest Christian. Jefferson and Kennedy, they're now one team. Interior suburbs are all linking together because they have to, because demos change, and it's how it goes. But in Edina, there's like a little core of this community, and it's built around that rink at Braemar, and that's all because of Willard Ikola. 100%.
That's one of those things where, you guys would know it best. I, haven't really been tapped into the hockey culture scene growing up, but when you've built something up that long, like you said, there's that aura, there's that, there's something different about
sense of community.
There's something about even walking into the arena, and it feels different.
Oh, you just get energized.
You know what I've always said?
Tailgating, parties, parking lot.
Do you know what I've always said? If you're visiting, or if you're in the section playoffs and you're playing Edina, if I'm Edina, I want to be the number 2 seed, because I want to wear the greens. Because when you look across that ice, you go, oh, shit.
Well,
that's worth a goal.
As I was coaching Edina, I'd always go into the locker room with the kids, and I'd say, everybody look at what's on your front of your shirt. It's Edina. You guys got about 3 minutes ahead of everybody, because they're going to be like, shit, we're playing Edina. So get out there and do what you do best those first 3 minutes and set the tone, set the pace.
You can always take advantage of the respect factor that you have.
100%. Yep.
100%.
Oh, and everyone wants to.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Jeff.
Yeah,
you did a very nice job of saying that, and I'm
thank you.
So glad to hear that, because I take my 6-year-old to Mite 1 practice over at Bloomington Ice Garden or Braemar, wherever we need to be. 7 a.m. You've got 6-year-old girls, laced up, ready to go, when the rest of the city's still in bed. And these kids are going and giving it their best. It's really, like I say to the other parents, I go, this should be the video that they show with Welcome to Edina.
100%.
You've got kids that
They're dedicated.
They don't know much at 6, but they know how to skate.
Yep.
And they know how to skate well, and they're wearing that green.
Dedication.
A really classy touch from last night.
Yeah.
2 of his daughters were there, and they had a nice reading, a moment of silence. And then players came over. They grabbed the famous houndstooth. They skated over the bench, and Kurt and Josh Harding put it up on a little bit of a hanger. And they had it on the back of the bench the whole game.
Very cool.
Nice.
I thought about that as I was calling that game, and I was thinking, I sure hope they do that the rest of the year. I really do.
Do they throw flowers in front of his statue out front?
That's a good question.
Wow, candles.
Why don't you be a leader? That's a good. I like it.
Could head out there.
Hey,
I didn't. There weren't any yesterday.
Wow.
I was very close to going, but I knew it would be a big night.
Yeah.
It was
Jersey night
very
as well.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, talking more about Minnesota, just to transition in just a little bit, but let's hear it for the Wild welcoming back Kaprisov and Spurgeon. That's did it help them though?
No.
Well,
But you can't be 11-11 at home and think you're going to do anything. You're just not.
Yeah.
That's atrocious. And when you hear guys scuffling and trying to say, we got to start faster, we got to start better, we don't know what's going on. Or we make the game more complicated. Whatever the quotes are, whatever they're saying. At some point, you've got to channel whatever you're doing on the road. And I still will maintain there's some level of distraction around this town. I don't know what it is.
Wow.
But they were 20-16 last year and didn't make the playoffs at home. That's a shit home record too. Sorry. But you can't play 725, 750 road hockey and then be 500 at home. How does that work?
It's unusual.
It's
Doesn't make
it's
sense.
gone on a lot
baffling.
over the past 8 years, 10 years. Their home record could be better.
Is there bad juju?
I just think I have no idea.
I mean, they say they love playing in front of their home fans. The hockey IQ is high.
Yeah, I don't think fans make plays. Like I don't think fans.
Do we have a lot of family men that get distracted by their families when they're home?
That was a point that was brought up recently.
Their
said
wives
that.
there and then their girlfriends. Yeah, that's trouble.
No, I've
I saw
felt,
Spurge at gymnastics the other day.
it's a juggling act for sure.
That's weird.
And I think parenting. I think parenting has changed in today's world.
Yep.
I was definitely a part of that, where I was very engaged. I'm sure all of us here have been very engaged.
Still are.
I think when you're a pro athlete in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, you were off in the corner. You were sleeping when you wanted to. You're doing what you needed to. You do what you do on the road, and your preparation was all about you.
Right.
I think just our culture which is great for kids. It's what we should do. I think it's become tougher for pro athletes.
Oh, 100%.
Because I think there's more demands on them as a dad than.
Well, not only that, but
I'm not ripping it. I'm just saying.
No,
that's what I think.
Yeah, they're spending more time doing other things like trying to buy the purple perfect suit with a pimp hat so that they can walk down that airplane and get videotaped and
Working on their backyard rink.
right. No, but let's talk about that.
Yeah, we could.
Let's talk about that.
But I think something for people even like myself who may not be too immersed in culture. We're going down memory lane with Minnesota hockey and the Minnesota Wild, and I think it's one of those things where and you guys know more about this. I mean, there's such a deep culture and pride and history that we have with hockey where we have that level of excellence. It means a little bit more than, like you said, maybe a team out in Dallas or somewhere down in Florida. I mean, we eat, sleep, and breathe hockey here in Minnesota. So for us to even, some people may think, 500, it's really not that bad. But for a team at home, I mean, there's
horrible.
There's issues
of
there.
the teams in the playoffs. It's the lowest in the West. I mean, that's just the way it is, and it's not going to sustain.
No.
But no, let's be honest. Like, it's Kaprizov's first game back. I mean, it's not like you're going to be full speed.
And the
I mean, that's not gonna
chemistry's going to be off,
happen.
right?
Same thing with Spurge. Yeah, and here's the thing that's interesting is Urasek is gone now. He's back down into Iowa, and I really liked how he was playing. A lot.
I did as well.
So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah.
But they got to start winning some games at home.
That's the biggest thing.
If they don't, that's a problem.
Yeah. No, I hear that.
I don't think it's been a problem.
Well, I mean, when you're over halfway through the home schedule, it's reality.
Yeah.
So,
any final takes here before we wrap up?
are we wrapping up?
Can you believe it? It went that fast.
Right over that hour. Final takes for the week.
We're over the hour.
Wait.
I just want to say, Jeff shared from the Wild game, the Willard Ikola tribute.
That was awesome.
Yeah. They had it on the big screen. Really, really cool. And just encourage everybody to take a look at that online. And I'm from the Northland. I was born in Virginia, grew up in Eveleth, and then moved to Grand Rapids. And so Willard's a huge, huge piece of my life. Just thinking, always had respect for Edina. It was always in the 70s, Rapids and Edina going at it. Always had respect. I'm not gonna fib and say one of the reasons I moved to Edina was to be engulfed in the
had something
culture.
to do with it
For sure.
So do you think
absolutely?
I didn't even think about you being from there. I don't even know why I didn't. Do you think that? But having heard that, do you think that's accurate? The correlation between Eveleth and Edina and Willard and hockey.
Of course. I mean, it was Mariucci and Willard. It's very measurable. Isn't it? Like, but having lived there, you can come here and feel that, right? Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, I mean, it's funny. I got holy hell for moving to Rapids and from my Rapids buddies, and then you've got the two Neely brothers. You got all kinds of guys from Rapids moving to Rapids for the hockey culture because they know that's what we grew up in. Rapids is a hockey culture, and they know Edina has that culture, and so anyway, I just wanted to.
That's very awesome.
Yeah, there's not many high school coaches that are going to get a shout out at the Wild game.
No, slim to none.
No, and there's not many high school coaches you could bring up the name and people at any game would know who that is.
But he's 92. If he was going to die, it's interesting and great that he did it on Minnesota Hockey Weekend.
I know this is like a false.
That's a perfect time, right? I mean, what a tribute.
In July, we may not have heard about it.
This is a false stop, I know, but gotta say, the one thing about him that I always loved is if you're at Braemar Arena on a given day in the winter, like say 11 a.m., they've got like a walking track around the bleachers. It's not really a track, but you can come in and walk. And he and Lori would be in there walking, his wife. Nicest people ever. It didn't matter who you were. He would always be willing to talk hockey with you. You could ask him any harebrained, stupid Edina hockey question, and he would have a great answer for you. And he would take the time and answer it and engage and loved talking hockey and perpetuating what that was all about, and you could feel it, and it was super cool.
Yeah, he's kind of like the Bill Walsh of hockey, and all the legendary coaches that came after Bill Walsh that were under his tutelage. I kind of feel the same way with Ikola.
I played against him as a player playing in 90s as Hopkins going against Edina. And I'll tell you what, we never won, and he was always just such a decent coach that didn't rave too much he was just solid. He was just easy. Yeah. I mean, everyone looked up to him.
He completely expected to be there. By the way, I am doing a 30-minute special.
Oh,
that we're going to
put
out
more.
on. We're putting it together. So what I was going to do was scramble together and put together a segment for our Inside the Bubble program on Sunday night. But there's too much to tell, I thought. So what we're going to do is I'm working on getting David Maley, Breck High School coach, Paul Ranheim,
love it,
Southwest Christian Richfield head coach, and Mike Terwilliger, head coach of Eden Prairie. All had played for him in the 80s for Edina. Two of them played in the NHL. One of them won a cup. One of them played 1,000 games. Get their takes on Ike and that whole experience. Mm-hmm. Ken Pauley is a huge disciple of Willard Ikola. He's going to check in. We'll hear from Kurt Giles on that as well. And then we're just going to kind of tell the story of Ike in the appropriate way. 30-minute program. So I'm looking forward to putting that thing together.
Excellent. Forward to hearing it. Yeah.
Hopefully for next Sunday.
Love it.
All right.
Any final takes? Anything going on this weekend that you guys are looking forward to or watching?
Football Hockey Day, Minnesota. I've got a great game, Edina, Minnetonka from Pagel Activity Center. 2:30, mnhockey.tv. You don't want to miss it.
And I just want to thank all the subscribers. We're hitting 5,500 right now. Let's go for more.
Let's go.
Pass it on to your friends and your family and hit that subscribe button.
That's
Let's
right.
go.
JC,
Yes.
anything else?
Let's go Bills.
Let's go Bills, baby.
All right, Chiefs.
Well, from the Meta Sports League studios for Wags, JC, L Teagues, Peanut, this is Doc saying goodbye from the DigiFan Podcast. Join us at 12:30 Central, 1:30 Eastern. Thanks, folks.
Adios, amigos.
Adios.